Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good, my dear friends. On your screen, you can see this portion here is roughly speaking Asia, and we have talked about various different divisions of Asia. Let's quickly go through them, right? So here you have this portion here is called Central Asia, right? This region here is called Southeast Asia. This portion where you have Japan, South Korea, and parts of China and Mongolia, all this region is known as Taiwan as well. This portion is known as East Asia. Then you have these Arabic countries, and Iran and other nations are together known as West Asia. And here we have this region here, and today we are going to talk about this region predominantly. Right, you have 8 countries here. You have Afghanistan, you have by the way, this region is called South Asia, right? So this is South Asia here. You have 8 countries in South Asia. We are going to calculate them. You have Afghanistan, Pakistan, then India, Nepal, then tiny nation here called Bhutan. 6th is Bangladesh, and we have 2 island nations. One is of course Sri Lanka, and then you have this nation here called Maldives, right? So together 8 nations of South Asia. They are also part of this regional group called SAARC, that is South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation. Now, dear friends, if we talk about this region, right, and this region is important for our country because you know that we have this foreign policy called neighborhood first, and if we are not doing very well in terms of our neighbors, then you can say that our foreign policy is not up to the mark, right? Simple as that. And by the end of this year, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he is going to visit Nepal. This is going to be his 3rd trip to Nepal in 1 year. He's also going to visit Bhutan, and for the very first time, he is going to visit Maldives as a Prime Minister of our country. Back in 2015, Maldives was on the list of his foreign visits. He visited Sri Lanka, Seychelles, and Mauritius, and the 4th nation was Maldives. But because of this not so good relationship between Yamin government and Modi government, Maldives was taken off from the list of that 2015 visit. It's a good news now that Prime Minister is going to visit Maldives in near future. Now, India, as you can see here from the size of our country, we know that we are the fastest growing major economy in the world in terms of military, in terms of so many other things, right? We are number 1 in this region. And all these countries are looking at India as a big brother, of course, right? They look at us and they expect us to behave like a big brother. And we have tried our level best as well. So far, our position was quite strong here. But in recent past, we have seen this dragon, that is China. You know, China is dancing over here, and China has, with the help of its BRI and deep pockets, it has managed to get many of South Asian nations in its side. If I say in its side, or rather we can say that countries are South Asian countries are a bit attracted towards China because of various things that are offered by China. If we observe the policy of China, particularly of last 5 odd years, then we find that it was engaged in this very aggressive diplomacy, you know, to promote things in this South Asian region, building constructions, infrastructure, and connecting them with this BRI, that is Belt and Road Initiative, so that they can have access to international goods and services and Indian Ocean region and other things. But now what we find is that there are a few countries out there, they are bit aware about this Chinese way of colonization, but there are a few nations who are tilting towards China, and this is a matter of concern for our nation as well, right, for India. At present, the stance of Chinese diplomacy in South Asian region is a bit different, right? China now wants, and it is now trying its level best as well to make sure that pro-Chinese leaders are ruling South Asian neighbors. And we find that, remember this Bay of Bengal initiative, this BIMSTEC. And this BIMSTEC summit was hosted by Nepal a month ago, right, 2 months ago maybe, at the end of August. So nearly we are talking about one and a half month ago this meeting took place, and it was hosted by Nepal. It took place in Nepal, and right after this BIMSTEC summit, there was supposed to, we had this MILEX. MILEX is the first BIMSTEC military exercise between this 7 members of BIMSTEC. But Nepal decided to stay out of this MILEX. It did not send a delegation to this maiden or first MILEX 2018. Later on, Thailand also did the same thing. Thailand is also part of this BIMSTEC. You have Myanmar and Thailand. These 2 countries are part of ASEAN. They are part of this BIMSTEC, and then you have 5 apart from Pakistan, and we don't have Pakistan on board, and we don't have Afghanistan, and we don't have Maldives. So out of SAARC nations, right, the nations that we have just gone through, so you can take out Afghanistan, Pakistan and Maldives, and rest of the 5 nations plus 2 nations of ASEAN are part of this 7-member BIMSTEC group. BIMSTEC is many a times termed as a bridge that is connecting SAARC and ASEAN nations together. Now, as I told you, right, that it is very important for us to make sure that this neighborhood first policy becomes a big success, because it is said in, there is a sort of saying, or there is a sort of, you can say, what do we say? It's a rule, right, in this diplomatic world, that a stable neighborhood is a hallmark of successful foreign policy. So if your policy or if your neighborhood is not stable, then there are less chances that you will succeed in, in global arena. Simple as that. So it's very important. You will find all the nations, right? Most of the nations, successful nations, or those nations having successful foreign policy, they will have a very good relationship with their neighbors. You can have some ups and downs, but it's all right. It should not be as bad as we have between India and Pakistan. When this neighborhood first policy was adopted by our country, when Modi government came in at that point of time, it was of course it's a good initiative, no doubt, but it's not just on us. When it comes to Pakistan, the behavior of Pakistan, the mischiefs of Pakistan are something that we cannot ignore. We cannot take it lightly. We cannot have talks and terror going on simultaneously. They have to create an environment in which we can have discussion with a country. So if they are on table, they are having a chat with us. On the other side, if they are stabbing us, then this is something that is not acceptable. So it's 50-50, or more than that. I would rather blame Pakistan. It's not because I'm an Indian. I'm saying it being very impartial here, so they need to sort this thing out. And because of Pakistan and because of India, right, these 2 nations, they are not having good relationship with each other, and because of this thing, this whole group, SAARC group, is suffering because of rivalry between, or this arch rivalry between India and Pakistan. As you can see here, if we say, for example, if we are planning to have a road connectivity, seamless road connectivity, just like Europe, you can enter from one nation to another on via highways. You don't have to go through checkpoints and things like that. It's very easy over there. So we were planning to have something similar for SAARC nations, but you cannot do it. You cannot complete the whole circuit because Pakistan will never allow, because of the relationship between India and Pakistan. We are big skeptical here, and because Pakistan is right in between India and Afghanistan, it's not possible for us and for the SAARC to go ahead with something like this seamless system that they have in Europe. The other thing is, this is one of the reasons why SAARC has failed. We know that last meeting was cancelled as well. It was in 2016 after this Uri attack. India decided to step out of this meeting, and later on it was followed by Bangladesh, and other countries joined India. Sri Lanka also, if I'm not wrong, Sri Lanka also said that it is not going to take part in this SAARC summit. So SAARC has not been that successful. Now our ambitious plan is to connect regions both to its east and its west, and we are trying to make sure that this neighborhood is stable. We have helped many neighboring countries as well. Apart from Pakistan, we have tried our best to extend this line of credit at nominal interest rates, creating connectivity networks, opening up a market access to common security space in Bay of Bengal. Right, it's been 4.5 years and still our relationship with Pakistan is not that good. So this is a big, you can say, dent on our foreign policy. The other thing is, because this SAARC connectivity, it never saw a light of the day. So we started, we opted for this BBIN, that is Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal initiative. And now Bhutan is a very environment conscious country, and people of Bhutan were not happy, and there was a sort of uproar in the parliament of Bhutan, that the opposition, and there were many people out there, they were saying that when you will have more trucks and cars and other vehicles coming from Bangladesh, India and Nepal into Bhutan, because of this BBIN initiative, we are going to see pollution and it's going to be environmentally unfriendly, so we don't want to go ahead with it. So for time being, Bhutan has stepped out of it. Bhutan has said that when the time will be right, it will join this BBIN. Of course, it is supporting this BBIN, but at present, because of domestic conditions, Bhutan is out of this BBIN. But BIN, that is Bangladesh, India, Nepal, is doing reasonably all right. Of course, we are developing connectivity. Recently we have launched trains that are connecting India and cities of India with the cities of Nepal, cities of Bangladesh with cities of India. So all these things are going on. Recently, Bangladesh has also offered us, these 2 ports with the help of which we can supply items to our northeastern region. So BIN, they are doing all right. BIMSTEC as well, reasonably speaking, doing all right, getting there slowly, we can say. Not that much successful, but getting there slowly. Mr. Modi visited South Asian countries, and we have also hosted many of their leaders too. But we have to understand this thing, that a sovereign nation, this is again a rule, or you can say this is how it works, that a sovereign nation will choose its ally or a friend based on, or it will take its national interest into consideration. National interest is the first priority, if a particular country is gaining something out of a relationship with another country, then it will go ahead with it. If it's not that profitable, then it will stay out of it. And China, China has this extraordinary pace of development, the way they sort of this infrastructure and other projects. Their decision making is quick, their execution is quick, implementation is quick. By these are some of the qualities of China, and these are some of our weaknesses. So because of this thing and this deep pocket of China, it has managed to get, there was a time when Sri Lanka, Maldives, Nepal, all this country, Nepal at present as well, it looks like it is trying to make or get the best from both the big players, India and China. But clearly Maldives was, or till now as well, because you have this interim government at present. So far Maldives was tilted in this regime of Yamin. Maldives was tilted heavily towards China, and under this Mahinda Rajapaksa's regime, it was tilted heavily towards China. But now things are getting all right. Now we also saw Doklam. Doklam was a matter between, or an issue between China and Bhutan, but Bhutan is our all-weather friend. We have this friendship treaty with Bhutan, so we cannot leave Bhutan alone. So we stepped in, and with the help of this or via this Doklam standoff, China was trying to send us a clear signal that if you are thinking that South Asian region is completely yours, then that's not right. We are going to be here. You are going to feel our presence in this South Asian region. Bhutan continues to resist Beijing, but Beijing is trying its best to get Bangladesh on board. But Bangladesh again very trickyly, very smartly, it engaged with China, but not with this infrastructure and other things that can create a debt trap for them. Now elections are going to take place in Dhaka, and we want to make sure that Sheikh Hasina returns, because she is India friendly. The opposition party is more China. It's not more China friendly, but it is more anti-India, and because it is anti-India, it will try its best. This is an opportunity for China. So as I told you earlier on, that China is trying or it's trying its best to see that pro-Chinese or anti-Indian neighbors are coming into power in this South Asian region. There are a few countries like Myanmar has pushed back a Chinese BRI project. Afghanistan is busy with this extremists, and Maldives, we have seen a change of guard is going to take place. Abdullah Yamin's government is going to expire soon. I have clubbed one news item pertaining to Maldives with this discussion. So in a nutshell, we can say that concluding remarks that history and common roots are not enough for India to remain a preeminent power in South Asia. What we need is, of course, we need to constantly engage at the highest political levels, sweeten deals, and offer unique solutions and alternatives if we want to succeed in South Asia, and if we want to succeed in world, or if we want to make sure that our foreign policy is a big success. With this, here you have a news item that I have clubbed here, that in Maldives, the ruling party led by President Abdullah Yamin today challenged the results of September 23 election in Supreme Court. So now we have to wait and watch what stand Supreme Court of Maldives is going to take. Second special topic that we have is very interesting one. Of course, you'll find it very interesting because nowadays all of us are buying something and something from e-commerce platform, isn't it? And at present, as we are speaking, mega shopping festivals are on various different platforms. What they do is they delight us, they delight consumers, of course, but at the same time they are destroying our environment because of this careless overuse of packaging material and no thought to recycling. E-commerce companies pack their goods in oversized boxes and swaddles in single-use plastic blown up in different kinds of air-filled cushioning, and you have all this plastic layer, multi-plastic layer, and you have this thermocol, bubble wrap, and air packets, and so many things. Masking tapes are used. All these things are heavily used in this by e-commerce companies, right? Now, it is estimated that back in 2015, this packaging industry was $32 billion, and by 2020, it's going to be what? More than twice, isn't it? $73 billion. The more this whole plastic industry is banking on this packaging. Packaging is one of the main driver of the growth of plastic industry in our country, and we have to make sure that we are using as less as possible the single-use plastic, and minimizing damage is something that we can understand. But nowadays I have observed this thing as well, that even if you order a t-shirt or something, then as well it will be packed in plastic, and it will be wrapped and things like that. So we don't need this sort of extra plasticking, right? We don't need this much of plastic for all those non-fragile goods. Even if you order a book, then I have seen that it will be packed in a bubble wrap. You don't need a bubble wrap for a book. All you need is a decent cover, that's it. And you can also use this paper cover, or recycled paper can be used for this cover. The other thing is quite strange. I'm sure we all are aware about this thing, that when you order 2 or 3 different items, I know that you have different sellers online, but at the end of the day, if you are ordering something from X company or Y platform, right, then if you're ordering 3-4 items, then you will get it on various different dates, right? You should be given this option that if you want something very urgently, then you can get that thing earlier on, and the rest of the items will come to you on a particular date. So consolidating packaging and delivery, right? You can have one packet for everything. That can be done as well. So consolidating packaging and delivery is something that they are not doing, and this is creating this situation of too much use of plastic. They can also offer us this thing that if as soon as we open our package, they can take back their cartoons and this cartons and their packaging material recycling and other things. If you are not recycling, then they can take it back, and it can be reused, or it can be recycled. So these are the steps that they can take. Now they are a big success. Now they need to focus on sustainability, and there are so many opportunities of innovation as well, right? If we minimize plastic packaging, then we will slash hydrocarbon, right? It will slash our import bill as well as our emission. And if we want our country to become a plastic-free, single-use plastic-free nation by 2022, then e-commerce companies, they can take a stand, and people will accept. I'm sure people will support other sort of packaging. If it is used from recycled material and things like that, then people are going to support. So that's everything in these two special topics. Now, before moving ahead, I would like to inform all of you that our pendrive and tablet courses are available for various different exams, and up to 50% Navratri sale is going on. This is going to last till 16th October only, so make the most out of it. I will share the PDF of today's lecture on my FB page and Twitter handle for you guys to download. Sorry about that. Many a times I have been missing, or I have forgot to upload this PDF. It's only because I was dragged into something else, making lectures and meetings with faculties and things like that. So because of this tight schedule, many times you forget this thing. The most important thing is this lecture. PDF is of course important for you guys, I do understand, but it's number 2 or number 3, right? But definitely number 1 is lecture. So I try my best to deliver lecture on time, and you have seen this thing as well, I believe. So now moving on to other news items that we find in PIB, we have this second phase of polling, urban body elections, concluded peacefully in 263 municipal wards of Jammu and Kashmir. And the good news is that there was no report of any untoward incident from any part of the region. That's a big achievement, of course. So total we are going to have this 4 phases. First phase is over, second is over as well. Now third phase on 13th, and fourth and final one on 16th, and counting will take place on 20th October. There was a PIL filed in Supreme Court regarding this Rafale deal, and Supreme Court today refused to go into price as well as this technical specifications of Rafale. And the Supreme Court has said, just asked central government to provide details of the decision making process only in a sealed cover. KK Venugopal, who is Attorney General of our country, has said that all these things are being done by opposition party. They are asking, or they want to compare this NDA price and UPA price and things like that. They are trying to win brownie points out of this national security related issue. 29th Accountants General Conference was held in New Delhi, and addressing this conference, President Ramnath Kovind said that introspection and deliberation to further promote accountability and transparency and good governance is the key. He also requested CAG to partner with state audit societies to train them and to build their capacities in the field of auditing. He also talked about this data management policy. He said that CAG nowadays is using this data management policy and data analytics, and this can enhance and increase capacity, as well as it can act as a very effective tool of auditing work. So this is something that this small, you can say, state audit societies should be trained for. And the theme this year was auditing and accounting in a digital era. Cabinet of our country took 2 important decisions. The first one is pertaining to this bonus that will be given to nearly 12 lakh non-gazetted railway employees. This is going to cost Government of India 2,044 crore rupees. And Information and Technology Minister has said that per person on an average will get 17,000 employees, right? Said each employee under this head, not average, but each employee under this head will get 17,951 for 78 days. And Cabinet has also decided to set up a National Council for Vocational Education and Training. So now this National Council for Vocational Training and National Skill Development Agency will be merged into NCERT. Information and Broadcasting Minister Colonel Rajyavardhan Rathore has called for introduction of good behavior on internet and social media platform. Now our smartphone, itself is, you can say smartphone is a computer in our pocket, isn't it? And we have the whole world. We are connected with the whole world via this device and this Facebook and other social media platforms. They provide us this huge opportunity to interact and to help and create a better world for us. So we have to make sure that if we are sharing something, if we are speaking something, if we are saying something, if we are writing something on social media, then there are so many people out there, they are going to read it, kids and next generation, and there are so many people. So basically we have to act responsibly. We cannot do whatever we like, right? It's a good platform, but that does not mean that we behave in whichever form we think is all right for the occasion. No, that's not right. We have to act very responsibly. And then we have this news item. We have this two important names. One is this Titli. This name is for this very severe cyclonic storm that was heading towards Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. But now things are all right. It was very severe, but by the end of the day, it is going to turn into a deep depression. And then we have on our western side, that is in Arabian Sea. By the way, I'm sure you have figured it out that this is taking place in Bay of Bengal region, and this one is taking place in Arabian Sea. The name is Luban, and Luban is heading towards Socotra Islands or Yemen and South Oman coasts. And the sad thing is that it is going to intensify. So both this nation, because Socotra Islands are part of this Yemen country, so they are, I believe, they are bracing themselves for this. Oman and Yemen, they are prepared for this cyclonic storm. So that's everything in today's discussion, dear friends. Thank you very much for listening, and do share this lecture with other students. God bless you all. Jai Hind.